Bro, you got to look at it. If you're a fan of Benoit, any fan of Benoit has to say, obviously, what he did was not rational. It was proven he had brain damage. Doctors said that type of damage could have caused homicide or even suicide.
What is going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Wrestling Outlaws. I am here with the Outlaws themselves, former three-time World Heavyweight Champion EC3 and former one-time World Heavyweight Champion. He has tied the current world champion reigns as both Gunther and Damian Priest. So congratulations to Vince Russo being a former world heavyweight champion, man. Shout out to Vince Russo, man. How's that feel, man? How's that feel having the same amount of, it feels yeet? Okay.
Very yeet.
Hey, Vince, when you told yourself you were winning the title, did you go, I deserve it? Did you do it? I deserve it promo?
No, I was more preoccupied with knowing Bill Goldberg was going to put my head through the guardrail. That's what I was more preoccupied with. Yes.
And were you aware of the time frame that you would have it? Like, did you know before you won the championship when exactly you're going to lose it?
Mm-hmm. Next day.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Very nice. And from all the people you talked to backstage that knew about that, what percentage of people gave the nod and agreed with that decision?
100%.
100%. Very nice.
Nobody cared back then.
100%.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
Whatever.
So all the people who talk about Vince Russo from backstage, and they all gave the nod for you to become world champion.
The same people that gave the nod to David Arquette.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Did you get a?
Oh yeah.
When you came to the back, were all the boys and the girls there? Give me the.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's a big thing. Did they do that backstage, EC3, when you were there? Did they do the applause coming into Gorilla?
When Tom had the greatest upset in wrestling history and beat me, he got that. When I was victorious and became the greatest NWA World Champion of all time, I got that. Impact the first time, I got it. And over in Exodus, Pretty Boy Smooth, our champion, was defeated by Dante Casanova, and he got it. So there are people there.
Bro, who did you first defeat in TNA to win your first title? Was it Kurt?
Oh, yeah, it was Kurt.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You don't know the guy, just the guy.
Yeah,
What a pro. Kurt was like the ultimate freaking professional, man.
Well, we're going to talk about him today, so I'm excited.
Talk about Kurt Angle. Yes, indeed. Let's actually talk about Kurt Angle right now, since we're talking about Kurt Angle. So Kurt Angle had a interview with Chris Van Vliet, who's been absolutely, I can't really say illing it with a K, because I know YouTube has so many restrictions, and so what I'll say is he's been absolutely illing it lately with video with interviews.
The kids say he's cooking. He's cooking.
Yes, indeed, he's cooking. Very, very, very nice guy too.
Very nice dude.
Yeah,
really good guy.
Yeah, chatted with him a few times in person, and just a cool dude, man. I wish the absolute best for him, and I'm so glad that he's cooking.
He's too handsome to be doing that. He should be. I don't know. He's on TV, so I guess he's handsome. It works. Never mind. He's just a handsome guy.
TV ready. There you go. He had an interview with another handsome guy by way of Kurt Angle.
Rugged.
Yes, indeed. He had a great interview as always. And Kurt Angle, he said something interesting about Chris Benoit. Share some thoughts that he doesn't believe that Chris Benoit should be whitewashed from the history books of the WWE. he said this. He said, if it feels strange talking about Chris Benoit, he said this. He said, I will tell you this. I did it for a while. I did what I was told to do, which was to pretend Benoit didn't exist. But what that did for me is it took away all of my best matches. It was rubbing on my legacy. So by saying that Chris Benoit no longer exists is saying I never had those matches. And it's like, whoa, I have my best matches with that kid. And he was an incredible wrestler. I don't condone what he did, but what he did was 100% wrong, and it's unforgivable. But how he was in the ring, how he was the best in-ring worker I've ever been in a ring with, he reminded me of me. I felt like I was wrestling my twin. So let's start with you, EC3, as someone who's competed with Kurt Angle as well and understands how just incredible and darn near flawless he is in the ring. What do you think about Kurt Angle's thoughts on Chris Benoit? Can you separate the wrestler from the maniac?
I think in art and sports, you can separate the accomplishments of anybody from personal, nefarious behavior, terrible things, in the essence of when you're looking at the history of what has taken place. You can't rewrite history, and it's very hard to erase history. I didn't know if there's like a new precedent where it's totally, Benoit's totally gone, because after the aftermath, he was totally gone. Then it kind of trickled in, like the content remains, but we're not going to talk about it. So I don't know if was there like a new TKO took over and cut it, or is this just an old subject?
Yeah, I mean, just still no acknowledgement. I mean, the content still exists, but at the same time, it's just no one ever talks about Chris Benoit as far as just the accomplishments of Benoit. So, I mean, and he's never used in any, the content's there, but he's never used in any type of packages or anything like that, you know, that they would have with someone.
I think nothing will erase Kurt Angle and the matches he's had with anybody, especially Benoit. I remember the day when it was just reported he was dead, because I was trying to get hired for WWE training in OVW, and I never met the guy. He was just down in OVW like maybe a couple months before, working with somebody. I never got to meet him, but he's definitely, when it came to work rate and wrestling, was the reason I wanted to do this. And then I remember just like, man, I never met this guy, and I felt this connection. Then the truth comes out, it's like, it's even worse. Like, the falling of our hero was tough to handle. Short of that, though, I don't think anything will erase what Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit were able to do in the ring. And because of this subject, I rewatched Royal Rumble. I think it was 2003 with Kurt versus Benoit. And dude,
stellar.
It's so good. The back 10 minutes are incredible. And if you're an aspiring young wrestler, like, why I appreciate the importance of establishing things that people know you do and that you do very well is so important, because you have Benoit, you have Angle, two, dare I say, technical workers that can do anything for sure. And in that first 10 minutes, it wasn't this great, like, catch-can wrestling match. It was pretty standard and typical.
Yeah.
With a crowd that was kind of bummed out, because I think that was a Triple H Steiner match that took place before, and it kind of ruined the crowd. But 10 minutes, but what caught the people's attention, you watch these guys and how they snap on the bumps and how realistic everything they do was looking. And like that, people weren't not making noise. They started to like kind of get invested in seeing what was taking place. And just that physical work, snapping on the bumps, commitment to the strikes, selling into the back 10 minutes where they can do any wrestling move that's probably ever been done, but they stuck to what their signature things were and put them in such different ways where, I mean, the crowd is on the edge of the seat. And like, as soon as, Angle took the backflip on the German, Benoit 3/4 across the ring with the headbutt, the way Angle maintained the ankle lock in the final sequence, like that 10 minutes is a damn masterclass. So the last 10, check it out. Short of that, yeah, it sucks what happened. And I think you can gloss over the name, but you'll never erase it.
Yeah, one of my favorite Chris Benoit matches in WWE was spring of 2001. He went against Steve Austin on an episode of SmackDown.
The 10 Germans.
Yeah, man, the 10 Germans. Yeah. I mean, like, you want to talk about like really causing Austin to really dig in, his repertoire that he hadn't used in a while. He was so used to being the beer swindling type of brawler, type of bar fight type of guy, but he went like uber technical in that SmackDown match, and it was talking about a masterclass. That one was too.
You watch Steve Austin before he became Stone Cold in WCW. Yeah. And work like the dude is like one of the best wrestlers ever. And what I think happened there, and I could be wrong, is that they had a match on Raw the night before, but it was live TV and a bunch of time got cut. They go over to Benoit's hometown, and I believe Austin wanted to go like 20 plus minutes with him in that environment. And you're absolutely like, Austin, he just needed the guys to bring it out of him, but like, he was chopping at the bit to be like just grind it out. Yeah. He wanted to be stunning again. Speaking of WCW, he wanted to be stunning. Vince,
so
real fast, just because I'm insane. Austin, for aspiring young wrestlers, if you watch Steve Austin, whether it was WCW, Ringmaster, Stone Cold, the dude's conditioning and the way he maintains the same pace. If you don't notice, he might not. It's incredible. Like, that guy was a machine. Go ahead, cardio-wise for sure.
Very nice, Vince. When it comes to like something like Hall of Fame, for instance, what do you think? From a Vince McMahon perspective, or currently from a Triple H perspective? Say if someone's inducted into the Hall of Fame, is he completely blacklisted or whitewashed from entire WWE? It's even from a standpoint of like, I was inspired growing up by looking at Chris Benoit versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, or I was inspired, by looking at Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle. Do you think that WWE has whitewashed or blacklisted him away from the company so much that they wouldn't even allow wrestlers to say something like that?
Well, bro, I was just reading, so I wanted to look something up while you guys were talking, and we have to keep this in mind. And Chris, you will be able to expand upon this. In September 2007, Julian Bales, the chairman of neurosurgery at West Virginia University and a founding member of the Sports Legacy Institute, announced the findings of his organization, stating that Chris Benoit's brain had undergone many changes from concussions. These extreme changes throughout Chris Benoit's brain are enough to explain aberrant behavior, including suicide and even homicide. So, bro, it's really a double-edged sword with the WWE, because it's not only the tragic crime that was committed, but if that tragic crime was committed because of all the concussions and his brain being damaged. Yeah. So now it's almost like a double-edged sword where, bro, you got to look at it. If you're a fan of Benoit, any fan of Benoit has to say, obviously what he did was not rational. It was proven he had brain damage. Doctors said that type of damage could have caused homicide or even suicide. Yep. But then on the other side of the coin, the fact that happened in a wrestling ring on their dime, my God, bro, they want to absolutely bury the whole entire thing. Chris, it's so funny, man. I was just watching an episode of the Attitude Era. And Michael Cole said during that show, that must be the 9th concussion tonight. Whew. Yeah, bro, everyone was getting hit in the head with chairs. Unprotected chair shots, everybody. So the thing is with Benoit, man, like, bro, the guy was suffering brain damage. I'm sorry, like he was.
Yeah. And wasn't that like a receipt? A lot of times, chair shots, there was also like a hazing, so to speak. I remember Maven was talking about how, he was hazed in a sense, by having chair shots like crazy. Even, it was a kind of a message sent to people. I remember when, unfortunately, Chris Canyon was someone who received a crazy chair shot too. Angle was had a crazy chair shot. Foley.
Bro, Vince was taking unprotected chair shots to the head. Vince.
He was. Yeah. The Rock, what was it? The Rock and Shamrock.
Oh God, Rock almost killed Shamrock, bro. That was vicious.
I had that picture hanging in my childhood bedroom.
Oof.
That was wild.
Yeah.
I can't believe in hindsight the amount of things they did to each other.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
The Maven and the hazing thing, it wasn't like this is part of your treatment, but it was like they're booking the angle and the spot and the chairs there, and it's like this is back in the day. Don't put your hands up. Don't do it.
Oh yeah, no, bro. In ECW, that was a badge of honor.
It was.
That was a badge of honor. You didn't dare put your hands up at ECW.
Yeah.
Think about taking an unprotected chair shot.
Well, you had a lot of people who were trying to. I talk about this psychologically all the time, Vince. You have people who really feel appreciated and accepted if they draw a pop, man. And this thing has been going on for a long time. And those unprotected chair shots is a badge of honor of, yes, I got a pop. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's been a while. EC3?
Neck and brain. Oh, man.
Yeah.
What have I done with my life? Why did you?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Vince, when it comes to, CTE and concussions and things like that, it just crushes your prefrontal cortex, which deals with decision making, your limbic system, which deals with it's like your emotional nervous system. It deals with like processing and things like that. And just, when you're compromising your limbic system, a lot of times people just their aggression levels just goes through the roof a lot of times. And so a lot of times people do get suicidal or homicidal because of those things. And concussions and CTE really affects that like crazy, man. So
they're like, from experience, like the depression that comes with the concussion sometime. Like I've never been that far, but I get it. And it's hard, man.
It's jumbling brain functioning things. It's just kind of putting a bunch of wires together and just like mangling them up, and it affects it more than people can understand, man.
You get a concussion on a off punch, a flat back bump. Yep. You get a concussion if you're running into a battle royal in Saudi Arabia and you almost decapitate yourself. Like you get all sorts of ways. I will say this to Vince's point. I don't think it's necessarily forbidden, but I think everyone's at a point where they wouldn't say directly or they would go around the subject. But I don't think it's like a absolute no. Or even if WWE is editing a package and like this Benoit Angle match is really, they'd probably lose that.
The one I don't understand, Chris, and maybe you can clarify this because you are the breaker of news. The one I don't understand, because I've heard different things, is the Owen one. Did his wife turn down the invitation into the Hall of Fame? Is that the story?
Yeah, Martha didn't want. I think still to this. That's the reason. Tony Khan had a lot of. His partnership with Owen Hart, with Martha Hart, Martha and because she sued the WWE.
Right. No, yeah, right.
And so there was just that relationship that she had with the WWE. It was just very strange. It was very strained, and she didn't want Owen to have anything to do with the WWE.
I wonder if she'll change on that in years to come.
I mean, you think? I mean, I think she should. I mean, because at the end of the day, if anything, you want to appreciate his legacy and what he did. You know what I mean? 'Cause I don't think that the tragedy that happened, I don't think that should keep him away from doing something that he's competing for. He's competing to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Don't take that away from him because of the tragedy.
Well, especially you got to ask yourself the question, would Owen want to be in the Hall of Fame?
Exactly.
I think the answer to that is 100% yes.
Exactly. Like I said, that's what he's competing for. He's competing in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah. If Owen could talk right now and would he be in the Hall of Fame, I think that he would absolutely resoundingly say yes.